Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a good one here. It is the Red Light Racing Checkered Flag Monday Night Scrambler series here at Talladega. I'm Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, filling in for Dave in the cave as he's sadly feeling a little bit under the weather here. So we took the quick flight down to Talladega here in the old jet. And I tell you what, the first and only time this season that these guys go to a super speedway happens tonight here in the ARCA cars. At the moment here, qualifying just about to wrap up. And right now, Bill Benedict in the number 90 machine will lead the field to the green flag. So a great lap by the 90 machine, but of course, 65 laps going to be the distance here tonight. Let's go through tonight's starting lineup to see where everyone is filing on out here for 65 laps here in the ARCA car. Alrighty, starting lineup will look like the following. Bill Benedict in the number 90 machine, like I said, walking away with the quick time. He will lead the field to the green flag. To his outside will be the 9 car. That is Adam Matz rolling off P number 2. Then we head to row number 2, rolling off P number 3 is the 98 car. That is being piloted by Ryan O'Danny. And then to his outside, in the number 60, it is Luke Allen rolling off P number 4. Then we head to P number 5. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the 42 of Max Theriault. To Theriault's outside there in P number 6 is the 62 of Ethan Troutman. James Skelton in the 86 machine will roll off 7th. 8th going to Ken Allen in the 49. Zach Mitchell in the number 8 machine will roll off 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 on the playoff bubble is the 13 of Josh Buckley. Starting in 11th is Jeffrey Souza in the number 4. Then in 12th, it is the 11 car of Sean Single. Too bad Sean couldn't qualify one spot better, have the 11 car start 11th. But nonetheless, we keep on rolling as Michael Trevarthen in the number 2 will roll off 13th. 14th going to Devin Visnaw in the 7. Trent Potter in the 18 will roll off 15th. 16th is Justin Gann in the 30. Jason Wells in the 64 machine will start 17th. 18th going to Logan Fielder in the 27. Connor Blaskow in the 95 will start 19th. And then rounding out the top 20 is Chris Hammett in the number 6. Tim Combs in the 17 will start 21st. 22nd going to Brandon Feeney in the 38. Rob Higgins in the 40 machine will start 23rd. And then 24th going to the 3 car of Tony Strano. Then we only have 1 car left here, and it is the 43 car of Bob Higgins, rounding out the field here tonight of 25 cars deep, getting ready to turn and burn, do some battling for 65 laps. And if it is one of your newer times here with the ARCA cars, I know this series kind of swaps them on out for different nights. I believe this is the 3rd appearance of the ARCA car, but of course this season ARCA car again remodeled up to the Gen 6 cars now. So now in the draft, you will see guys lock on bumpers and push, much like we saw with the Gen 6 era. The question is, can these guys give square enough pushes to not turn the car around them, nor do they give enough pushes to overheat their cars and have to worry about temperature? A lot of things these drivers are going to have to manage, both the draft, the cars around them, and the cars underneath them, as we get set to turn them loose for 65 laps. And then, of course, we got to always wonder, when will the big one strike? We've seen many of races, it strikes within the first 5 laps of people trying to figure out where they want to be, where they want to go. And we've seen races go all the way green to checkered, and no cautions anywhere in between. We'll find out what kind of races this here tonight in just one moment, as here we go, the iRacing pace truck down off of pit road. Bill Benedict in control. He's on the loud pedal here, and we go green flag racing here from Talladega. Field 2x2 throughout, most of it here tonight to kick things off. Looks like one car way up in maybe lane number 3, maybe already starting to pull the chute. Here down the backstretch, we'll see a lot more drivers. If they want to go to the back, they'll pull down on that apron, head towards the back, and it looks like no takers here on lap number 1 for anyone pulling chute. So out in front though, Adam Matz leading the way, getting a great push in that second lane. Matz will get clear. He'll jump down to the bottom. Not only leaves 2 cars up in the top lane towards the front, not going to have the support they need here at the moment, but support quickly coming as it looks like the 86 machine of James Skelton here closing in that gap very quickly. And it looks like Skelton going to be third in line up in the second lane, but here to lead lap number 1, it looks like it goes to Luke Allen in the 60 machine leading lap number 1 here. So it looks like everyone filing in where they want to be. Already getting some takers here towards the back, trying to ride things on out. I like this strategy call of hang out, wait for that kind of incident, that big one to come, because like I said, kind of in the pre-race here, this is the only time these guys have been on a super speedway this season. It's not like a normal kind of NASCAR schedule where things lead off at Daytona. No, the chaos is here and only tonight, as drivers got to figure out where they want to go, who they want to work with, all in these 65 laps to give them the best shot at a win, because everyone knows if you're outside that playoff bubble and you can get a win, that is a ticket punch to the playoffs where anything could happen, especially in the multiple rounds that the Red Light Racing Series uses. Out in front though, much more even between Luke and Adam here on the front row. Adam down low in the Reese's number 9. Sorry, the Reese's looking car in the number 9. And then the Goldfish 60 of Luke up in lane number 2. Those guys have been leading kind of most of the way. The guy that led the field to the green flag just sits in a nice, cool, collected second car in the inside row there in the number 90. So laps already clicking on by here tonight. Looks like another car gonna be pulling chute here. I believe that's the 27. Yes, it is. And Logan here has definitely a tough race in front of him, because he sits the last car into the playoffs at the moment. He sits 12th in points, just 1 point to the good over Josh Buckley, and then only about 4 points in front of Michael Trevarthen as well. So Logan here in this 27 machine cannot have a really bad race. This could determine a lot for his season. So it looks like he's going to play it safe here at the moment, tag onto the back of the field, and then give himself that buffer in case that any big one breaks out here early. The question is though, you cannot lose touch with the lead pack nor the car in front of you, because that's how you quickly start to lose time here on Talladega. So throughout the field here, 2x2, I want to say about 8 rows deep, and then everyone else hanging out to that inside lane here tonight. As I believe the last car to the outside, yes it is the 3 car of Tony Strano. Strano, of course, started 24th here tonight, and with him just riding around on the outside lane already, he has made up 10 positions in these first 5 laps. Just going where cars just are not. As old man in front of him, a little bit of shakeup here as Buckley gets stuck in the middle just for a second, able to get things all sorted out there fairly quickly. We ride on board with the 13 machine. Buckley hanging around right now, right around the top 10 here tonight, up in lane number 2, and you can hear these drivers working that throttle with that momentum, maybe dragging a little bit of brake, but this second lane here falling on back, don't have the numbers maybe they need, because this inside lane starting to check on out, being led by the 9 car Adam Matz. now if you're the likes of the 60 machine, the 62 up in lane number 2, do you kind of maybe force something, try and side draft a little? As no, they get a little bit of a run though, even 4 cars up in lane number 2 with a little bit of side draft here, able to draw that inside line back, able to get some steam moving up in lane number 2 here. And that's the fun thing about these ARCA cars. I feel like it might be a little exaggerated behind the wheel, but you can definitely feel the draft, the side draft, all that. I actually got done 2 weeks ago racing an ARCA car in a league race. I tell you what, once these tires wearing out, this side draft almost can turn a car around down a straightaway. I mean, I felt it multiple times, and same with my teammates during the race, that if you can get up right to that right rear or left rear quarter panel, really pull that air off that car, it gets squirrely to whoever you're side drafting. So it's definitely a tactic that we'll probably see at some point before the end of the night, especially if someone has to pick up a win. But it definitely is a risky move, because that car gets out of sorts, gets you as well. Both your races are over with just a side draft. So 4 cars still up in lane number 2. Josh Buckley, the last car of that. Another car further on back, diving out of line. That purple number 30 machine, that is Justin Gann here, ducking out of line. Will quickly make his way up to the back bumper of Buckley. And Gann almost thought about making it 3 wide. He had a big head of steam and was almost going to, maybe for a second, use that run. As further on back here, I think some other cars just trying to figure out where they want to run. That is the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney up in lane number 2. Tony Strano, we saw him up towards that pack here, has since maybe lost touch of that pack, or maybe said, all right, we got some data of how to get through the pack. We can head towards the back here and keep on clicking off these laps here tonight. So out in front, once again, back to a drag race between the front 2 rows here, as it looks like Luke Allen going to be able to get clear. Does not move in front of the 9 cars, so looks like the 60 machine comfortable up in lane number 2, going to stick to that side. He's got to be careful, though, because usually with these cars that can overheat, it is the right thing to do once you get clear. Let the guy that pushed you get some clean air from him, and then you can come back up if needed. But kind of the reverse order is Ethan Troutman able to slot into that second lane. So that's another way of the pusher able to cool off that race car with some fresh air, just diving down to the bottom lane if it's open. So everyone into the inside lane here tonight, except for the 5 cars up in lane number 2. Oh, 3 wide race in action just for a second, as it looks like the 11 car of Sean Single going to be able to get around the 30 machine here. So now that only leaves about 4 cars up in lane number 2, as I think the 30 machine will try and look for an opening as soon as possible to slot back down to that inside lane. As I believe these guys can make it to lap 30. Once they do that, just that one pit stop to make things whole, get that thing filled up with that, of course, virtual Sunoco race fuel here tonight. But here we go. Josh Buckley not going to wait. He's going to take the momentum, go to the top side here, and going to be able to get clear of Dennis Visnaw. Devin Visnaw. So he's able to get clear of the 7 machine with that move, but now only 2 cars up in the second lane here, as Buckley able to get down the 7 car back up to lane number 2. That puts Sean Signal up into lane number 3. Single does have some help from James Skelton there in that black and white and gold 86 machine, but with these guys kind of running on their own, they are losing a ton of time to those cars on that inside lane. So if I had to guess, they'll probably file in behind the red number 8 of Zach Mitchell and then find an opening there before it closes on up. maybe not, as all three of those cars still up in lanes 2 and 3. 7 car though able to get on down, file back into 10th here. So this now was right around, the top 5, and then getting shuffled back out. He'll fall just inside of the top 10 here in 10th position as we ride on board with the 7 car. As out in front though, Luke Allen leading the way. Ethan Troutman currently sits in 2nd. Then it is Adam Matz in 3rd, Josh Buckley up into 4th, and then Sean Single still trying to get that second lane moving. The first car up into there, and I tell you what, he's getting some momentum. The question is, when does James Skelton's car get warm? As old Skelton able to drop down to that inside lane, so I think the answer was now, and as the 86 machine down to the inside lane through 3 and 4. So 14 laps have been started here tonight of the 65. Next time by will be about 50 laps to go in this one, so still a lot of time, and a lot of things could happen before the end of that. Looks like here at the moment, everyone's still within the pack here. No one has lost the draft, but this pack has now stretched out about 3 seconds from Luke Allen all the way here to the 27 car of Logan Fiedler. So that is our 25 cars that have taken the green flag and still out on the speedway. Now some new takers up in lane number 2. Looks like the 64 car of Jason Wells up there. Same with the 18 of Trent Potter. As old man contact there. Troutman getting into the side of Single. Not sure, maybe that was the first indication of that side draft. And that's what I'm hearing maybe from the chat or from the 62 team, that side draft pulled that car over. And you can see that was on just 15 lap old tires. Imagine these tires another 15 laps. What this side draft can do to these race cars, as it's only gonna, emphasize that side draft and pull these cars even more aggressively to the sides. As it looks like first takers down on pit road. We saw Luke Allen here, one of the first down, and he was leading both lanes for a while, so may have had the pedal to the metal this whole race here so far. Spent 0 time saving fuel, and at that cost, he is only pitting with Adam Matz, so definitely not enough cars to come down at once. So we'll have to see how good they can get on and off pit road before the end of it. As here we go, I think now we're going to have a lot more takers down on pit road, as only 1 car up in lane number 2. That tells me a lot of guys are thinking about pitting, as they all quickly try and file to that inside lane to pull on down pit road here. And here we go. A lot of takers. Let's see if they can make it down. And it looks like this group all safely down on pit road. Now leaves about 12 cars still yet to pit. That is from our pole sitter, Bill Benedict, all the way to Bob Higgins here in the 43 machine. So all these guys have yet to pit. That was about, I want to say, 12 cars that just pitted right there. So the rest of the pack going to split this up evenly as we take a look here to the front. Make sure that pack number 3 gets down to pit road here safely. Oh man, almost contact there between Max Therial and the 90 machine. Luckily, everyone able to safely bring it on down pit road. Whoa, hang on to it. The 40 machine of Rob Higgins there, a little sideways, able to keep it underneath him. Further on back, the cars off of pit road. How do they file on in? as it looks like Adam Matt's having a slow stop. He is going to try and hope to hang on to the back of the pack. Luke Allen pitted that little bit earlier, able to pick up some cars here, but not in the front pack, that being led by Sean Signal. Here we go, Signal to the start-finish line here as cars rolling off the pit road. How will they all file on out here? So you can see pack number 3 cars trying to accelerate there on the apron. Here will be the test down the backstretch where they will come out onto the pack here. Looks like they will be able to jump the 95, the 90, as well as the 30. We'll have the momentum to Zach Mitchell and Max Theriault as well. So let's see if Signal gonna hit the brakes or just ride things out. Looks like he will hit the brakes here. Everyone back to a single file line here. It looks like the top, looks like top 11 here in this first pack. And then further on back here, Trent Potter, Tony Strano, James Skelton, as well as Tim Combs trying to hang on to the draft. They sit in pack number 2 after the first pit cycle. Then we have another 4-car pack of Luke Allen, Devin Visnaw, Michael Trevarthen, Ethan Troutman, and then further on back, Rob Higgins, sadly not in the draft. Same with Brandon Feeney, Adam Matz. Looks like Logan Fiedler going to be able to tag along with the 43 car, but with them only a 2 car, they just have to only hope that they can start picking up cars as they catch them, but going to be a long way to this lead pack as they already are losing time to them, and they're about 14 seconds back. So the first pit stops here, 11 cars, very good on it. Everyone else trying to make up that big time difference here before the next round of pit stops. So as the 42 machine of Max Theriault leading the way, Theriault not a stranger of some wins here at Talladega coming into tonight. He already has 2 wins under his belt and about a 56% top 5 finish percentage. So he might be the one to beat, and he's out front here on the completion of lap 20. So about 45 laps to go in this one. As here we go, some other cars starting to catch that pack. So looks like pack number 2 able to catch the leaders. That leads then only Ethan Troutman out by himself. Troutman, Combs, Higgins, all looking for some some partners to work with and try and catch this lead. I should say this lead pack here tonight, being led by the 42 at the moment. Further towards the back though, Trent Powder leading this outside lane here in the 18 car. 4 cars up in lane number 2. We'll see what they can do. As I have a feeling this first pack, just riding things out, trying to maybe save some fuel if they can, but not push anything because they know they're sitting in a good spot if this race does go green to the end. Potter already up in a P number 2 here. He'll have a good run off of turn number 2 if he can just carry that momentum. He should be able to get clear of the 42 by the time they get to turn number 3. And there we go, new race leader, the 18 machine of Trent Potter. Potter will slot down to that inside lane. That'll put now Tony Strano up to lead line number 2. And wow, what a move by James Skelton. Skelton able to go from lane number 2, I think either 3rd or 4th in line, right in front of the 42, and be car number 2 on this inside line now. And as we approach the halfway point here tonight, I'm going to take a sip of water, take a break from yapping, but that won't stop the broadcast because we got a little turn 3, turn it up coming your way here at Talladega. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to live racing action here at Talladega. Right now, the 3-car of Tony Strano leading the way here as everyone has made their way to the inside lane here tonight. So now it sits, about a 16, 17 car kind of snake here at the moment of pack number 1. Ethan Troutman and Tim Combs have started working together here, but still losing time to the pack in front of them. They sit about now 4 seconds back from that pack in front of them. Last time by at the stripe, it is now 40 laps to go. At least one more, if not 2 more pit stops before the end of this one here tonight. As we ride on board with Trent Potter. I say let's jump back kind of further towards the back here and see what it's like riding on board with one of these cars. So let's ride on board with the 8 car of Zach Mitchell here and just let's get a sense of what's going on and see how much movement, even from a single file lane here tonight, how much these cars are, are really moving around here. And you could hear there, folks, going into the corner, off the throttle, even right after the apex, and then down the straightaway, we'll get a little bit of a run. And everything else just modulating that gap to the car in front of you, as well as that, of course, with the throttle pedal. So you can hear Mitchell really feathering that pedal, and that's allowing the 8 car to get some better fuel mileage maybe than, let's say, the leader of the pack, the 3 car or something like that. So it all comes down to some strategy as well, depending on where you want to run, how you want to run this race. And Mitchell sits in a pretty good spot too, because he's still with his first pack, but far enough back, if there is an incident for whatever reason, he could have enough time to react with how far he is back in this first pack. As I believe as we're running, I think 24 cars still on the lead lap, 25 cars still out here, so everyone that has taken the green flag is still running. 1 car, 1 lap down. That's a 49 machine of Ken Allen, and he's maybe in trouble to go 2 laps down as the pack, within a quarter of a track back from the 49 car. And And I think what happened to Ken Allen, not sure what caused the penalty, but he had a 30-second hold on pit road for the 49, so that has caused him to have a pretty bad night here so far tonight with that penalty on pit road. That could be a detrimental blow anytime at a super speedway. And look at this, with this lead pack kind of running pretty conservatively, those two cars that have started hooking up and working together, the 62 of Troutman and Tim Combs, have caught our lead pack. And then further on back here, Adam Matz, the 27 car, all these guys trying to catch this lead pack as well. I see in the YouTube chat lands wanting Ethan Troutman update, so Troutman quickly making his way through the field here in lane number 2. I think what happened to the 62, I think just a slow pit stop, either on or off pit road. Actually, I think Troutman was one of the few cars to take 4 tires, and that may have caused him to stay on pit road just a little bit longer than some of the other cars. So taking those tires, but now using them to his advantage as Troutman goes for the race lead. Ethan Troutman on those fresh tires here will lead at the completion of lap 30 as we get very, very close now to our next pit window, as well as the halfway point in the race, as we have our first taker down on pit road. I believe that is the 9 car. Yes, it is. So the first car coming down here on 31. We'll have to see when the rest of the field does so as well. But out in front, though, Ethan Troutman, him and Tim Combs working together very well. Now they sit 1-2 in front of the field. Jason Wells now up into 3rd. Connor Blasco in 4th. And then Tony Strano, who's kind of led the majority of this second stage, or I want to say stint between pit cycles, currently sits in the 5th position. So we see the red 49 machine of Ken Allen now put the 49 now 2 laps down. He is the good case for Ken, though, is he is the only car 1 lap down. So if we get a caution, he will be the lucky dog. Still be 1 lap down, but could be worse if another car is a lap down. But luckily for the 49, no one else a lap down here at the moment. So here we go once again. Who will peel down pit road? It looks like the 62 car will lead about a handful of cars down on pit road. Looks like Troutman down safely, same with Strano. But here at the cross flags, at the stripe, it will be the 2 car of Michael Trevarthen leading the way. So Trevarthen, a driver we haven't talked about much here tonight. That 2 car now out on the point. Trevarthen, of course, a very skilled and talented short track racer. Put him on these big tracks. Hey, he might have the lucky strategy, the lucky coin flip to get the job done. Right now, sitting in the best spot that he can. So here we go. Next takers for pit road. We'll find out here off of turn number 4, as it looks like, yeah, the 2 machine will lead a handful of them once again. Looks like everyone down safely. Maybe not, as contact as Ryan O'Danny goes around. Same with the 17 machine of Tim Combs. Man, oh man, contact on pit road. The one thing you can't afford to do, as it looks like, oh man, the 98 of O'Danny just locks up the rear tires, gets that thing sideways, and then Tim Combs, just an innocent bystander. Man, I'm amazed how we didn't get more cars involved in that, but since that incident happened on pit road, we stay green flag here as the final takers coming to pit road this time. So Bill Benedict leading the way. Benedict actually going to stay out another lap. So him and Souza will be the only two cars as pack number 3 looks like safely down onto pit road. And now it's going to be really interesting to see where the 90 and the 4 cars cycle on out. Because I have a feeling unless that 4 car really gives the 90 a big shot here, they might be losing time just a little bit compared to a big pack. So as these guys try to throw down some lap times here in this pack that has already started to form up, James Skelton leading the way. Trent Potter now behind the 86. Then it is Ethan Troutman. As here we go, we'll take a look at the last 2 cars to pit here. Looks like we'll take along the 49 car as well. As it looks like all 3 of them able to get down onto pit road nice and easy. Nice and safely. As here we go, Zach Mitchell gonna merge out onto the backstretch, and it looks like that pack number 2, if you hit that pit stop right, able to make up some time. It looks like once again a lot of takers just on either 2 tires or no tires, just filling those race cars up with virtual fuel. So the 90 machine and the 4 trying to get up to speed here on the apron. And they came in right around in that top 5. And looks like we'll lose touch to that first 5 car pack here. We'll probably merge right in the middle of that second big pack here tonight. And they are going to do exactly that. How will everyone file on out? Looks like everyone going to be mostly safe as, wow, what a save by the 11 car of Single. Sean had to be sawing on the wheel of the race car, and kind of we see 3 wide racing for the first time here tonight as everyone trying to make sure they keep their momentum, try and keep as much track position as they can, but it looks like everyone mostly safe from that pit road here. The big losers from that, though, Ryan O'Danny and Tim Combs, they sit way out from the back of the pack, 18 seconds back from the rest of the field. They are going to have to hope for a caution before it's all said and done. So out in front, though, it is Zach Mitchell. Then on the outside lane, Jason Wells going to try and take over the point here. The Alienware 64 here. Going to have the advantage going into turn number 3 here. And it looks like with some pushes from the 2 car, Wells will be able to get clear there off of turn number 4. Yes, he does, able to slot down to that inside lane. Ethan Troutman here in the 62 machine kind of pulling some shoots. Will kind of drop a little bit further on back here, just a little bit. Troutman was right around the top 5 position. Now quickly trying to get down to that inside lane. He will slot into 10th there, but behind the 95 and in front of the 60. As only 2 cars out in lane number 2 here at the moment. That is Skelton and Potter. Now both those cars able to slot down to that inside lane. So once again, we have a long snake of race cars out here at Talladega, all running the inside lane as they kind of once again continue to strategize, continue to try and figure out how they can set themselves up to walk away with the checkered flag in about 25 laps or so. So Wells here leading the way over the rest of the field. Let's see if we can maybe ride on board with Trevarthen. Maybe try and see what he is doing on the throttle pedal. See if he's just matting it to the wood or what's going on, and see if he pushes the 64. This is not the time, we'll see kind of an air bubble, as you can see, about a quarter car length away, right where you can see up into the SS mark. There's this kind of bubble with these cars that can kind of push the car in front of you without actually making contact. But if you want the really big runs, you're able to kind of squeeze that bubble, able to close it on down, get right to their back bumper, and you can push like that for about 2 to 3 laps before your engine will try and expire by overheating. So right now doing the nice job at the push and just able to manage his stuff here. And as you can hear, it sounds like mostly pedal to the metal for the 2 car. We heard riding on board with the red number 8 of Zach Mitchell. A lot of lifting, a lot of playing with that throttle here in second position. It sounds like that foot is to the floor here tonight and trying to keep as much momentum up here towards the front. And that they're doing just that, able to have a little bit of gap to the cars behind them. As that time by at the stripe, we head to the countdown clock. It is 25 laps to go here at Talladega. And man, I tell you what, the 2 car would be very excited if we had a checkered flag, next time by. Because coming into tonight, like I said, Trevarthen comes in just 4 points outside the cutoff line. This would be a huge night for the 2 car. Also, like I said, battling in that battle. Josh Buckley, 1 point out. Logan Feidler sits on the bubble in 12th. Then Sean Single, just good enough inside the bubble. Justin Gann sits 10th in points as well. Tim Combs, a tough night here tonight. Currently sits 24th. He has 9 points to the good. He's 9th in points. About 30 points to the good, but a lot of those points could be erased tonight. Also, other guys from the outside looking in. Connor Blasco sits 15th in points. 16th is Luke Allen. 17th, Bill Benedict. 18th, Rob Higgins. So yeah, all those cars could have a really, really good points night here tonight and kind of flip the script going into the regular season finale next week, I believe, at Stafford Motor Speedway. So ended things on a short track. That's going to be fun to watch as it's with the trucks as well. So going to be a very, very interesting race at Stafford, a very tight track. And those trucks, not the smallest cars on the sim. So it's going to be a wild regular season finale next week at Stafford Motor Speedway. So out in front, no real challenges for Jason Wells. Wells continues to lead the pack here, as everyone else kind of riding on around. We got our first taker up in lane number 2. Looks like some Souza Media cars working together out here. Bill Benedict in the 90 machine. Same with Jeff Souza in the 4. Only 2 cars working that second lane. Wolf slot into line on the inside line, though, right around 10th position. So 22 left to go here tonight. Looks like everyone in this first pack, everyone of 21 cars have made it up into this lead pack. Looks like the 43 machine has lost touch, and then we saw the incident between the 98 and the 17. Those are the only 3 cars outside of the draft. And of course, Ken Allen with that pit road penalty, he sits 2 laps down in 25th in the middle of this pack as well. As everyone at the moment content with just riding on around, clicking off the laps. And I have a feeling, we'll see people start to get after it with about 10 laps to go. Then the intensity will kind of double with 5 laps to go. And then with 2 laps to go, depending on the run and how cooled off the car is pushing you, it could be anyone's game. I mean, we could see someone probably from 10, if they can get enough of a run, enough chaos in front of them, we could see them pass the whole entire field before we take the checkered flag. So inside of 5 to go, especially like 2 to go, it's gonna get wild out here tonight. This time by, hopefully for most people, it's all your fingers and toes. That time by, it's 20 laps to go here at Talladega. I say we'll tag onto the back of the field here, right on board with Adam Matz, just trying to take a look how long this line of cars are. And if we remember from right on board with second of Trevarthen, listen to how little the 9 car is into the throttle. He's trying to save as much fuel so he doesn't have to pit by himself. Here we go with Adam Matz. You can hear Adam really working that throttle pedal here, really trying to save that fuel as much as he can, because he would love to pit this final pit time with at least a couple other cars so he's not pitting by himself. As you can see, the times and pace of this field has really slowed on up as, oh, here we go. Matt's here coming to pit road this time. We're right on board. See how sketchy it is coming to pit road. And that's just one car doing it. Imagine 15 others trying to slow down with you. So the final pit window is open. Matz is going to be right there on the edge of that. I thought for sure with where he was running and the throttle inputs, he was going to be able to hopefully get another lap out of it. Looks like will not be the case. I have a feeling this time by, though, we'll see the 64, the 2, and quite a few other cars coming down this time by. As I stand corrected, I guess Matt's just very early to pit road here, as there are no takers down on pit road. And on board with the 18 machine of Trent Potter. Potter currently running in the 4th position. And everyone else, they're just trying to get here, get to this final pit stop. And then from this, we'll see some drivers try and position themselves a little bit better. May start to see some blocks being thrown after this last green flag pit stop cycle of the night. Here we go, some takers down on pit road. Jason Wells will lead about a handful of them down to pit road. Looks like everyone's safely down and hopefully away. Now we head back up to the front here. Pole sitter Bill Benedict out to the point once again here with now 16 laps to go. As there's now about 14 cars that have yet to pit here tonight. We saw the 90 and the 4 kind of run it long last time. I have a feeling this time, though, gonna pit with the rest of the field. We'll have to see if it is this time or gonna try and make it one more lap for that crew, and it looks like yes they do, and gonna have some friends to stay out with them. Further on back though, it looks like Ethan Troutman gonna lead another handful of cars down on pit road. Josh Buckley, Tony Strano, Sean Signal, all down on pit road as well. So with 15 laps to go here tonight, about 8 cars yet to make their final green flag pit stop. And it sounds like a call out from most everyone in this top 8. So the final few cars gonna duck out of line this time by and head down pit road. This could be the money stop for a lot of these drivers. How well they get on and off pit road. Did everyone make it to pit road speed there? That was close, especially for that red number 8 car, Zach Mitchell. Mitchell gonna have to try and find an opening. Has the 4 car to his inside. They both able to get down to their boxes nice and safely. Out on the track though, Jason Wells here leading a 4 car back, trying to get up to speed and see what they can do. This time by, we will see 14 laps to go. Cars rolling off of pit road there. And how will they file on out? Zach Mitchell, I tell you what, had a great pit stop. One of, I would say, about average on the time, maybe a little bit faster than some, but he was very good in and out of the box. One of the few cars in the low 34-second time bracket, so that allowed him to get out in front, able to finally pick up some draft, but he will slot into 5th. We'll have to see if these guys can catch those other 4 cars leading the way. And they probably will, because right behind them, we got some cars starting to group up with them as well. So it's going to be a good race here. I believe about 16, maybe 15 cars in this first pack. I think some sort of issue with Jeff Souza. Maybe not. I think maybe just taking tires there, as everyone else took fuel or just right sides, and he has lost touch with that pack. So at the moment, it could be a 15 car shootout where any one of those drivers could walk away with the checkered flag here. So this first pack about 8 cars deep. Then we head back, sitting in 9th, riding on board with Connor Blaskow. He sits in the 9th position. Brandon Feeney right behind them, and that pack will be able to catch him. And like you can see here, the 3 car of Tony Strano, the last car in this pack, currently sitting in the 15th position. As here we go, some takers out of line. It looks like the 30 car, as well as trying to see the other number, the 95 up in lane number 3. The 90 car up there as well. So drivers starting to take those runs when they can get them as we approach go time here tonight. Next time by at the stripe will be 11 laps to go. As the outside lane starting to get formed up a little bit. Justin Gann in the 30 machine leading the way in the outside lane. "11 laps yet to go here tonight down the super straight of the backstretch of Talladega. We've seen the most cars in a while up in lane number 2. They are trying to get rocking and rolling here. It's about to get racy for this win. As Jason Wells in the 64 leading the inside lane. Justin Gann in that purple 30 machine leading the outside lane here tonight. Gann about half a car length here behind, so the outside lane making some headway, but this time by 2 open hands from the flagman. It is 10 laps to go here at Talladega. And don't worry, folks, it's only about 26 more miles to go. as it looks like the field gonna catch some lap traffic. I believe that is the 43 machine of Bob Higgins. So Higgins looks like will go down to the inside lane. Can the rest of the field make sure they get on around? We'll see 3 wide racing here tonight as everyone's gonna shuffle on up. No, 43 gonna take it on the apron, so a really awesome move there by the 43 machine. Good heads up driving. As here we go at the stripe, Jason Wells will lead another lap, and we go into single digits here tonight. It is now 9 laps to go. Top 15 starting to become all under a blanket. Then further on back, 16th Luke Allen stuck in this 4-car pack. Same with the 7-car as well as the 4. And it looks like Rob Higgins stuck on his own island. Same with the 27 and the 9. Further up towards the front though, we see almost even car numbers between the inside and the outside lane. So it's going to start to get a little stagnant till people start locking onto bumpers here and start making some big time moves. As, oh man, look at this. Inside lane going to lose some momentum here, as there is a gap between, I think, the 86 of Skelton and the 18 of Trent Potter. And yeah, still another gap. So with that big gap, that is preventing the 86 to get closer to the 64. Could allow this outside lane to start building some momentum. As, oh man, Skelton gonna pull the parachute late in this one. I don't know if that's the right call. If at this point it is go time here, but the 86 gonna drop out of line and say, you know what? I have a bad feeling about what's coming. I'm gonna go head towards the back of this pack. So with that inside lane losing some help there, Justin Gann goes to the inside lane, will slot back to the outside lane in front of the 6 car. And where did this guy come from? Chris Hammett in the number 6 sits at the moment P number 2. So this guy could be in store for a win here tonight. Wasn't talked about much here, but sitting in a great spot now with 7 laps to go. As you see there, Hammett giving Gann a bump off of turn number 2. You can see how squirrely these race cars are, and it's only gonna get worse as a lot of drivers maybe didn't take any tires, maybe just 2 tires. As, oh man, Ethan Troutman there in the 62 machine, almost into the wall there in turn 3. He either had to chase that race car up the hill, or maybe he's pulling chutes, but he's up in lane number 3 and will slot into the back of the outside lane here. Out in front though, Bill Benedict able to get to the race lead from that inside lane. Was able to draft up in the outside lane, slot in front of the 64. So now it's Benedict versus Gann on the front row here. And let's say, you know, this race goes green to the end. It stays exactly how it is. Who wins this race could be determined by that 3rd lane, or that 3rd car in line, either by Trent Potter or Connor Blaskow, with how well they give a push to those cars in front of them without getting them squirrely. Because rule number 1 in super speedway racing, especially in a car that's a little bit of a handful, you cannot push the pusher. But as we talked about with that aero bubble and that draft bubble, you can compress that a lot to get close to that back bumper, and that just generates more momentum, more of a run for those drivers in front of you to have. Here we go. It is now an open palm from the flagman last time by. It is 5 laps to go, and here we go. Ethan Troutman looking to lane number 3. Now some takers as well. Zach Mitchell up here in lane number 3, going to be the first taker with some runs. So now it's going to be gridlocked here for a little bit. As here we go, Chris Hammett will leave Justin Gann out to dry. Hammett wants the race win here tonight. Hammett getting a huge shot from the 8 car. They will get clear from the whole field. Where will they go? They will go down to the bottom Same with the 95. It's about to get wild from here on out, folks. Chris Hammett out in front. Now Zach Mitchell up into P number 2. Justin Gann still in that second lane. And then up in lane number 3, James Skelton trying to find some momentum. Here we go. This is where it gets wild. Another car in the mix would love a win. That is the 13 machine of Josh Buckley. Buckley, another one sitting on the outside looking in just barely. Same with the 30 machine. So a lot of wild stuff, a lot of playoff implications at the end of this one. As here we go, Buckley heads to lane number 3. He will get hung out to dry as we go 4 wide into turn number 1. How will this work on out? Buckley bounce around Ethan Troutman hard into the outside wall. Troutman gonna go around here, and that will probably bring out our first caution as Troutman Strano, the 18 machine of Potter, involved. As we head back live here, try and figure out, see all what happened there, but we have our first caution of the night. Like we saw, quite a few cars involved in that one, and I think this will open up the door for a green-white checkered. So let's take a look here, see what happened into turn number 1. So like we saw, 4 wide racing there. It looks like Feeney will get into the side of Buckley. Buckley then shoots up into the track, into the side of the 62. Then more contact between them. Oh man, Troutman, a big time hit, will collect the 3 car of Strano. Trent Potter having nowhere to go. And I tell you what, did the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney hang on to that race car? I'm trying to find his name in the list here, try and see. See where he sits as, oh man, it looks like no, Feeney did not save that race car. So let's take a look here, see what happened at full speed here. So there's Feeney getting sideways, trying to hang on to that race car, and oh, just got the wall there. Comes to a sliding spot, and oh man, Potter involved in that first hit, and then a big hit to the 38 car. So that will slow down the field here for the first time here tonight. As it looks like as they run, Justin Gann gonna lead the way here as they catch the pace car. And I gotta double check the rules, see if there's any any rule about green white checkers, if there's a limit, anything like that. But we will have some takers down on pit road. Justin Gann going to be the first car down to pit road, as I believe only 3 cars staying on out. Chris Hammett, Sean Single, and Bill Benedict all staying out on the racetrack. Everyone else down on pit road. So we'll go to the end of pit road, see who will win the race off of pit road. That looks like it will easily be the 30 car of Gann. Looks like just fuel for the 30 machine. Looking like he wants to keep that track position. And it looks like the 13 machine of Josh Buckley, then Jason Wells. Then it is a scramble of cars all pitting at pit road exit together. Everyone else able to get rocking and rolling. But yeah, out in front though, Chris Hammett has the point here for our first attempt at a green-white checkered. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. But a quick word from our partner over at Premier Setups. Alrighty, so we are back here at Talladega at the end of this one. So looks like we might be in for a treat here, as we will have at least one attempt at a green-white checkered. As Chris Hammett will have to choose, I believe this time by, will be able to choose the inside or the outside lane here. And that'll put him either getting pushed from the 90 of Bill Benedict or the 30 machine of Justin Gann. And here at the stripe, it looks like the 6 car of Hammett will choose that inside lane. So the lights will go out on the Talladega Super Speedway. We will re-rack, restack the field, and get ready for our Super Speedway green-white checkered. And I said, folks, from 2 laps on, it is anyone's game. Well, we get in a green-white checkered, so we'll see the aggression level turned up to 110%. Everyone, once they get a run, they are going to take it. We know these guys, especially this cooled off temperature with these pace laps, they are going to be able to lock onto the cars in front of them and generate some massive runs before it's all said and done. So as long as a block doesn't go wrong or any sort of 5-wide racing, we should be able to see the end of this one. But it's going to be an exciting one here as the drivers head down the backstretch here, get everything set to rock and roll, tighten those belts one last time, get in the right mind space because these guys are going for a win here at Talladega. And at least this season, say, hey, I was the king of super speedways because I won the only super speedway race on the schedule. Alrighty, folks, here we go. The iRacing pace truck here will head down to pit road. And now Chris Hammett going to be in control. He has to time up this restart right where he can't jump on it too early because then he becomes a sitting duck. I say we go out to the far camera and see what we can see unfold as Gann will give Single a shot here. And we go back to green flag racing with a green-white checkered. Single and Hammett pretty even on the front row here. The inside lane's going to have a little bit more momentum. You can see everyone starting to stack up to each other. It'll be a dead even drag race down the backstretch. Who is going to push better, the 90 or the 30? It looks like the 90 machine going to be a little bit better here as we see the third lane starting to form. The 42 car out in front of lane number 3. Sean Signal, Chris Hammett still side by side. Now Gann will leave the 11 out to dry. The 11 car gets hooked. He gets turned. We get them wrecking before the white flag. As actually we did take the white flag. So we are staying green racing out here as the cars that have snuck through are racing to the end. The 90 machine having some damage on the rear end. That could be good for the 6. How much of a run can Josh Buckley generate before the end of this thing? Does Zach Mitchell have anything left in the tank? I think if you're further on back than that, you sadly don't have enough time. As here we go into 3 and 4 for the final time. Chris Hammett in the 6 car leading the way. Josh Buckley looking low. Will push the 90 machine up and out of the way. Here comes Josh Buckley looking for the win. It looks like Zach Mitchell will go to the outside. Going to try and get to the outside of the 90. Not going to be there. And it looks like here at the stripe, they all make contact. But Chris Hammett will pick up the win here at Talladega. And wow, what a redemption race for Ryan O'Danny. As O'Danny will finish in the 2nd position. And Josh Buckley, having himself a great points night, had a chance for the win. able to walk away on the podium as well, though, in third. But how about this, folks? Chris Hammock gonna walk away with the checkered flag here at Talladega. And I have to double check just to be, let me double check all my numbers here, see what this is win number for the 6 car. As this is now win number 10 for the number 6. So that will put him tied with now Zach Mitchell and Jason Wells. So Chris Hammond will bring it down to the front stretch here, and we'll probably burn it on down as he celebrates the win here at Talladega. Chris Hammond here burning it down at the stripe at the win here at Talladega. So don't go anywhere, folks, because here in a moment we'll be chatting with our podium finishers here tonight. So we'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here at the Talladega Super Speedway here. And I tell you what, I am pumped up. And yeah, we'll be talking to some other drivers, hopefully, that are pumped up. The first driver we'll be talking to is our third place finisher, that being the 13 machine of Josh Buckley. Josh, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, my man. So first and foremost, how are we feeling after 65 laps here at Talladega in the ARCA car?
Well, I'm glad it's over because that's a little crazy, but it was pretty patient for the most part, but elbows up right there at the end. It's super speedway racing. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I tell you what, big time elbows up racing. One to miss that big one that happened just before the stripe. And then after that, you knew you had to be sitting in a good spot because you had the momentum. It was just about where to take it, right, at the end of that one to try and pick up the win.
Yeah, when that all wreck happened the lap before, and I saw that there was the two cars in front of me, I'm like, I'm in just enough. I thought I was going to get a good run. And then I noticed that Zach was coming up, and he gave me a push, but no one come up to his teammate. I was a little concerned to take him with me to the outside. I thought he was going to bail on me and go with his teammate, so I decided to stick it behind the 6 and see if I can make it work there, and then crazy happened at the end.
Yeah, that it did. Even with that craziness at the line, you're somehow able to slide across P number 3. So after all things considered, I mean, still has to feel like a pretty successful night overall, right?
No, absolutely. Obviously wanted to pull off a win, but I'll definitely take third. Should help me in the points and trying to get in the playoffs this season. So.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we are looking at the points, especially next week, regular season finale coming into tonight. You know, you're just sitting 1 point out of the bubble. I assume with the great finish you had here tonight, going to be the car that's on the bubble. How you feeling going into Stafford next week as well?
I'm feeling pretty good. I like Stafford. I have a lot of fun there. It's going to be interesting because we've never brought the trucks or any of these cars to Stafford, so it's going to be a new track for a lot of guys. But I'm excited for it. I've raced. I put plenty of laps down, so hopefully I can mimic what I did tonight and get my way into the playoffs.
Yeah, it would be awesome to see this 13 machine into the playoffs. And I mean, if you do make it there, what's the goal for the playoffs and maybe the rest of the season if you can check that box?
It's really one race at a time. That's how you got to take it. Still got to get through Stafford next week, and then hopefully everything works well there. And then take it to the next race from there. Just one race at a time.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Josh, one thing I do like to do, give a little bit of insight for maybe people watching at home or fellow racers. So, Josh, I always like to ask, these sim racers, especially up on the podium, what do you got for wheels, pedals? What are you looking at these days for your good old sim setup that helps you with these races?
I got the track racer tripod that holds everything together. I got the Moza R5 with the Fanatec V3 pedals and the Logitech shifter.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty great combo there. And yeah, we're rewatching that big one there, and you get a big hit in the door of that 13 machine. I mean, you had to be thinking you're gonna get right rear hooked and be facing at that catch fence pretty quickly.
Oh, I was holding my breath. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm glad as well that it wasn't the case. Able to walk away with a third place finish. So, Josh, here for the 13 team here tonight, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast here tonight.
I got to thank Checkered Flag Auto Supply, Granny Hips, Walkers, and Canes. Turn 3 Racing Network, you guys, we've been working with you for a long time. It's always been great coverage, so appreciate you guys coming along. And just thank you to all the guys that come out every week and have fun racing here. It's a lot of fun, and to everybody watching at home, thank you.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Josh. Go, my man. Finally take a deep breath. Go relax from a great finish here tonight. The big wild card is out of the way, and you, my man, survived it on the podium. So congrats again here tonight.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. That was our third place finisher, the 13 machine of Josh Buckley. Now we'll head up to our runner-up finisher, that being the 98 machine of Ryan O'Danny. Ryan, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got a copy, Brett. What's up?
Oh, man. First and foremost, Ryan, how we feeling after 65 laps here at Talladega?
I am as surprised as you are.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, what a rebound race it was for you. From going on to that trouble on the green flag pit stops, then getting a late race caution, then on top of that, surviving that big one, and then, we see you finishing runner-up. Man, what a night for you it must have been.
Lots of highs, lots of lows. I thought once I locked it up and spun it, I had to apologize to Tim Combs for spinning around into him. I thought my race is over for sure, and then I just lucked out for the rest of the race.
Yeah, having Lady Luck on your side when it counts. And I got to ask, Ryan, how'd you get through that big one? First time I'm watching it back right now with the replay with the broadcast, but what did you see, my man, going through that? And then the white flag as well.
So for the big one leading up to the last lap, I could see things starting to happen out the right side of the car, and I was on the bottom lane. There's there's nowhere I can go. I just keep your foot in it, and I did get doored. I'm pretty sure I did, but the car just stuck in it, and so I just kept it floored and kept it going. And then turns out I was one of the 5 people to make it through. And then the last lap, I was in the back. I had a good run, but I was going to let them fight it out. And then they spun each other. So I went high and got around it. Lady Luck was, I need to go buy a lottery ticket. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, I think so as well, because that was an awesome drive. This 98 car had speed, able to qualify 3rd position, so we knew you had something in it. But yeah, we're watching, and man, you are able to part the siege, just squeak by everyone, and yeah, get that run. And then white flag lap, you see that incident in front of you. You're probably, once again, you're not lifting and going to drive through the smoke, right?
Yeah, take a line, drive through it.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Ryan, playoffs right around the corner. We head to Stafford next week for the regular season finale. How are we feeling going into that race after a great finish at the wild card race?
I think for me, getting into the playoffs is a win and in situation. I think I'm far enough outside the points that it's not going to happen unless I win, and that's the problem. Not a fan of short track racing, so it's whatever happens to me there. I'm just happy to participate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking at the points now, and yeah, it seems like missed a few weeks there, so that never helps. But yeah, here at Stafford, anything could happen, especially truck cars around there. That's some big cars out of tight track.
Maybe I'll survive the big one again.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Ryan, one thing I like to do is get a little bit of insight about what sim drivers are using these days, what they kind of like, what they're using. So if you don't mind, tell me as well as the viewers maybe what you got for wheel pedals. What are you looking at these days, Ryan?
So I actually recently, halfway through the season, picked up a Moza R12 wheelbase along with their KS Formula wheel, which is cool, but it doesn't really work super great for oval racing. So I'm hoping to pick up another wheel here soon. I'm still rocking the Fanatec V3s for the pedals, and so those have been working out really well for me for the past few years. So I'm going to stick with them. Not going to change them out for anything. And then the major piece of equipment that I have, aside from those 2 things, is the HP Reverb G2 VR headset, and that's what lets me get right up on people and feel comfortable with that, because I have the depth perception, and chances are they do not.
Yeah, and I tell you what,
so I like to play mind games with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I know VR definitely wild, especially on iRacing. And I've heard, especially, on the dirt side, it takes it up to a whole new level. And, I assume, there's a learning curve to it. But once you got comfortable, I'm sure, screens can't really match it, right?
Agreed. And yeah, the dirt stuff is fun because you get mud on your visor and it moves with you and such. So you can't look around it or anything.
Yeah,
but yeah, it took me a couple days, but I got used to it. But I've been racing VR ever since I started iRacing, and that's about 7 years now.
Wow, so a veteran of the VR stuff. So I don't think you're ever going to walk away from that amount of time invested in the VR stuff, right?
Probably not.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Ryan, for a runner-up finish tonight. Once again, a huge rebound, so congrats to you on a great finish. But before we let you go and celebrate this runner-up finish, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you, who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you want to give a shout-out to on the broadcast here.
Well, first, huge shout out to Turbo Dork. I love representing them. I actually got to see them in person again for the first time in a little while in Indianapolis, like 2 weeks ago now. So that was pretty cool. 4X Racing, hands down, best team. I love racing with these guys and chatting with them during the race, after the race, all week really. We a bunch of friends. It's great. Thank you for the admins for putting on this league week in, week out. I couldn't race anywhere else, honestly. And thank you to Turn 3 Racing Network for putting on an awesome broadcast. I'm looking forward to watching this tomorrow.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we appreciate you, Ryan, being part of the show that all of us get to enjoy. So you, my man, have yourself a great rest tonight and finally take that sigh of relief. The Talladega race is finally over.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, folks, that was our runner-up finisher, the 98 machine of Ryan Oldani. Now we'll head to our winner here tonight. It is the 6th car of Chris Hammett. Chris, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
Brett, buddy, it's been a minute.
Hey, man, that it has. First and foremost, Chris, how we feeling after those 65 laps here at Talladega in these ARCA cars?
I have been so damn close to winning one of these super speedway races, and I've given them away and had them taken away every which way you could possibly imagine. So to finally pull one off feels really good. It's Talladega, baby. It always feels good to win at Talladega. So played the strategy right tonight. Was able to get the front row there, and then to get the lead there. When the 30 pitted coming to the choose, I was like, well, if he's gonna give me the pole, I'm gonna take it, and we're gonna hope this thing don't run out of gas and hold it to the floor, and somehow that worked.
Yeah, that it did for you, able to walk away with a checker flag. And I gotta know, Chris, how close were you to running out of fuel? How much fuel did you have? Because you had enough to do some burnouts. It's like watching the next gen race, right? Everyone says they're gonna run out and then still can do all these burnouts, right?
I was good for that one. I know we were kind of talking in the team chat about, if there's multiple green white checkers, and if there was a second one, that might have been a little close. But I was definitely good for the third one. I don't know if the 30 filled up on that last stop, because with how he was in our same group, kind of how we pitted there to make sure that we were good to the end for the last time we pitted. So I don't know if he was all the way full or what. I made sure mine was. I wasn't playing that game. So no, I was good, and then able to save under that caution there behind the pace car. So I had plenty for that one. A second one would have been a little rough when I saw him wrecking in my mirror there coming to the white. I was for sure the caution was coming out. I was hustling that thing trying to get to the line to make sure I didn't have to survive another one of those. But yeah, I always save enough to do a little burnout. We got to put on a little bit of a show.
Oh, for sure, Chris, for sure. And yeah, I mean, how much of a swing in emotions was it for you to, lead the field to the green flag, see them wrecking in your mirror before you take the white flag and thinking, oh, we got to do it. Then the caution doesn't come out. You take the white flag and it's like, now I just got to hold off 4 guys because some runs are coming as, you're just sitting there just trying to get back to that checkered.
Well, like I said, I've lost these super speedway races a lot of ways. So it wasn't a surprise to me when I saw him wrecking. I was like, oh, here we go again. And then we get into the white, and I knew that there was just the 4 of them. I thought about trying to drag back to the 90 to try to block that run, but I decided that there's only 4 of us, so he's gonna get a run, but it's not going to be like this insane. He's going 15 miles an hour faster than me run. So I just kind of faded middle, like a half lane up into 3, just to kind of make him go the longer way around, where he still couldn't go to the bottom and he had to go to the top, but he had to go, 2.5 lanes up instead of just 2. And when he got to my outside, I saw the 13 coming, so I just went bottom, and I didn't know where the 13 was going. My teammate in the 8 said he wasn't going to go with me, which I thought that was kind of screwed up, but that's Zach. He doesn't like that I have more wins than him now, so, he'll have to deal with that. And 2 more championships, so get some, Zach. But no, I just went down to 13 with me, which was awesome. Gave me a big shot and got me a little further out ahead, and then they wrecked again. And then shout out to my other teammate Ryan O'Donnell with an amazing comeback to second. Hell of a run by him tonight. So really good night for the 4X boys. It sucks Sean got spun or whatever happened there coming to the white. That's really disappointing, but 3 in the top 5, we always take those. Second win on the season is awesome. Get some momentum heading into the playoffs. I can't wait for that to start. We're trying to go back-to-back, try and get a 3-time championship for old Django Maserati up in here tonight. He's back. Let's go.
Hey, man, awesome stuff. And yeah, I was going to ask, a great season so far under your belt, winning opening night at Charlotte, winning tonight at Talladega. I mean, of those 2 races, which win is more has been your favorite so far this season? This one seemed like it was tough to beat, right? Finally to get that super speedway win.
I mean, winning Charlotte at the opening season was awesome because it's allowed me to be very aggressive on my pit strategy. It hasn't worked out yet, um, but it's allowed me to do some really different stuff and be super aggressive. And knowing that if it doesn't work out, then we're still in the playoffs, and it's okay if it doesn't work. Um, so that's just been a kind of a relief to not have to watch the points at all this season. Um, but man, winning at Talladega, any of these super speedway races, because the playing field's so even. We had 25 cars in the field tonight, and all 25 of these guys are good enough to win at Talladega and Daytona. So you're racing everybody every lap, to nail the fuel strategy right, get on and off pit road good enough all night, keep the car out of trouble all night. These things are a handful, man. The super speedway package is not easy. The car is really unstable when you're getting pushed. So keep the thing clean to get a win at Talladega. We got one more week at Stafford, then we're off to, I think, Iowa for opening round of the playoffs. So really looking forward to the rest of the run to the end of the season. Gonna see if we can get ourselves another championship here. So focus forward on that. We're gonna go have some fun at Stafford next week, and then it's all business.
Yeah, that it is. And I tell you what, can't wait to see the 6-car run for another championship. And, Chris, another big milestone for you. I'm a big stats guy. I love to see the stats. This is now win number 10 for you. So you get in the double digits. And like you said, you tie your teammate Zach Mitchell on the amount of wins you guys have in your careers. Pretty awesome.
And I think I got fewer starts than him, so but I'm counting. That's the tiebreaker. I'm ahead. No, I've been really fortunate in this league to find this league. First of all, it's a fantastic league, great people that run it. I've been very fortunate to have the success that I've had. Definitely thrown away probably a half dozen races, but we're not talking about those tonight. So to get the double-digit wins, my 2 championships that I'll never shut up about. I don't care if I win another one or not. I'm gonna talk about that until I'm blue in the face. So really tough competition in this league. So any win you get is super super tough. So yeah, we're gonna try to keep stacking them here. We got 6 more races to go rest of the year, so we'll see if we can add at least 1 or 2 to that tally, and hopefully we'll still be around when we get to Homestead.
Yep, and I tell you what, a win would definitely help in the playoffs. And Chris, I like to get a little bit of insight from you sim racers, see what kind of sim setups you guys have, and it helps the viewers maybe if they're curious at home, fellow competitors. So Chris, what do you got these days for wheel pedals? What are you looking at and whatnot?
Brett, it's the same as it was like 3 years ago when I talked to you.
Man.
It is bare bones. I race iRacing at like 45 frames. Okay, we are bargain basements in racing over here, and these guys let me win. So I don't know what that says about them. I have a I have a plan. We're working on getting to a spot where we can get a nice new PC up in here that'll allow me to upgrade some stuff. That's obviously step one. There's no point in having all this nice stuff if I don't got a computer that can run it. And this potato with an antenna sticking out of it right now is doing its best. So yeah, we are bargain basement sim racers over here. We have a single monitor. All my graphics are turned all the way down. I have a belt-driven wheel. We're nothing fancy over here. So just imagine how good I could be. Like the possibilities are endless.
Exactly, Chris. And that's the joy of iRacing too. You hear these people having tens of thousands of dollars in their setup, and then you can go out there with some bargain-based stuff, like you're saying. Go out there, have fun, most importantly, but also some good drivers like yourself can pick up the checkered flags no matter what.
You never put anything past Django Maserati, Brett. You never put anything past Django.
Well, awesome stuff, Chris. It's always a great time chatting with you, my man. So first and foremost, good luck with the playoff aspirations. Hopefully you can get another championship. But here tonight, Chris, parking it down in Victory Lane, second time this season. We're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast here.
Yeah, I'll talk some more. I haven't talked enough. I want to thank my awesome wife, Ashley, who lets me come back here and do this every week. I got married, Brett. You missed that. My awesome wife, Ashley, I love you so much. Shout out to the teammates at 4X Racing, Sean, Zach, and Ryan. 3 in the top 5 tonight. Up front all race long. Best team in Red Light Racing, bar none. Shout out to the admins, James, Josh, and Ethan this year. They always do a fantastic job. Shout out to the Higgins family, Bob and Rob, and Checkered Flag Auto Supply for all of their support. Turn 3 Racing Network for the broadcast. Django Maserati's Hamburger Lounge on the car this year. We know we had to rock the championship black and gold all year long, and hey, I've almost like led the points a lot of the year, so that's working. I'm gonna keep that. Maybe add more gold. We'll see. Who knows? But if anybody I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. Great race tonight. Brett, good to talk to you again, buddy, and I will see y'all later.
Alrighty, yep, Chris, go celebrate down victory lane. And hey, man, if you ever think about hanging up the steering wheel or the helmet, I tell you what, it would be great to have you in a broadcast booth one day.
We would have to change the rating on your broadcasts because I get a little colorful. So we would have it would be the adults only broadcast. But if anybody's interested in the adults only Turn 3 broadcast, you guys let me know.
I tell you what, I would have a ball with that, Chris. But yeah, I'll keep you from chatting too much. We could chat all night, my man. So you have yourself a great rest tonight. Go inside. Deep breath of relief that Talladega is over, but you're the one to conquer the super speedway this season. So, Chris, have yourself a great rest of the night.
Have a good one, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, that was our race winner, Chris Hammett, in the number 6, getting the job done. And I tell you what, I can chat with that guy all night long. Chris is an awesome time, so congrats to him on the win. Let's head on over to our race results and get things wrapped on up here and get you guys on out here tonight from Talladega. As it looks like our race result tab won't pull on up, so we'll do the old-fashioned way, take a look at the ticker to the left. So Chris Hammett will pick up the win, Ryan O'Danny will finish second, and Josh Buckley rounding out the podium. Zach Mitchell in the 8 car will finish 4th. 5th going to Connor Blasco in the 95. Finishing in 6th, our pole sitter here tonight, the 90 machine of Bill Benedict, will finish in 6th. 7th going to Jeff Souza. 8th is Adam Matz. 9th position is Logan Feidler. And then rounding out our top 10 is the 2 car of Michael Trevarthen. Finishing 11th is Ethan Troutman. 12th going to Tim Combs. 13th is Tony Strano. 14th Bob Higgins. 15th James Skelton. 16th is Luke Allen. 17th is Devin Visnaw. 18th is Max Therial. Finishing in 19th is Sean Signo. 20th going to Justin Gann. 21st is Rob Higgins. 22nd Ken Allen. 23rd Jason Wells. 24th Trent Potter. And then it is Brandon Feeney finishing in 25th. So that'll do it here tonight from Talladega. You guys won't want to miss next week. It is cutoff race. It is regular season finale at Stafford. It will be a good one there. So want to give a huge thanks to all the live viewers tuning on in here tonight, all the replay viewers, all the drivers taking their time out of their Monday night to spend racing with us, as well as putting on the great show that all of us got to enjoy here. So Dave in the Cave should be back here once he is feeling better, and can't wait to see how this season plays on out. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Turn 3 is partnered with Premier Setup Shops. You can check them out with the link in the description. Even if you don't want to buy anything, a click would go a long way and will be much appreciated. So yeah, that'll do it here tonight. Thanks again, everyone. Everyone take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week, and we will catch you in 1 week's time for the regular season finale. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.